Hi, welcome to the Wisdom Inspired Talk podcast. Thank you for joining me today. I am Yomi Akipelu, your wisdom coach, speaker, teacher, and author of Blow the Cap Off Your Capability and other books. In this podcast, we will learn from the wisdom of wise men and women from ancient and contemporary times. We will glean wisdom from books, biographies, teachings, quotes, and sayings of sages through the ages. So, let's dive right in. Today, I'll be speaking about delayed gratification. Let's begin with a quote and a story. Brian Tracy said, "The ability to discipline yourself to delay gratification in the short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is the indispensable prerequisite for success." Now for the story. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, a psychologist, Walter Mischel, who was a professor in Stanford University, carried out a study which involved 500 children. It was called the marshmallow test. Kids were offered one marshmallow or some other desirable treat, and they were told that the researcher would step out of the room for 15 minutes. If the child could wait until the researcher returned back into the room, then he or she would be offered a second treat. In other words, one marshmallow now or two marshmallows later. The saying, "Good things come to those who wait," has an element of truth. Now, left alone with the marshmallow or the treat, which they couldn't eat, kids tried all kinds of tactics to stop themselves from eating the treat. Some pulled their hair, some closed their eyes, some caressed the marshmallow, some turned away from the marshmallow, some smelled the marshmallow, some hovered over the treat. On average, most of the kids could not wait up to 3 minutes before they gobbled up the treat. Only 3 out of 10 managed to delay their gratification until the researcher returned. It was quite clear that most kids struggled with delayed gratification. It was discovered later in life that the children who had successfully waited for the second treat seemed to do better than those who had not. Starting from 1981, Mischel, the researcher, began systematically tracking down the original subjects of that study. He measured academic progress and social progress. His hunch was correct. The ability to delay gratification was a huge indicator of future success. Success in the experiment predicted higher general academic achievement and better stress management. On the other hand, the ones who could not delay gratification were more likely to be overweight and later suffered higher rates of drug addiction. Nevertheless, more recent research has shown that delaying gratification is not the unique thing that decides whether the person will be successful or not successful in life. That is to say, the correlation between delayed gratification and success is not 100%. One has to consider the bigger picture. That is, other harder to change components of a person, like their intelligence and environment they live in. Still, the research makes for interesting reading. A wealthy and influential patriarch had 2 twin boys, and one of the boys was set to receive a great inheritance. The inheritance was that his family would become a great nation of great kings and also great wealth. Based on the tradition of that nation, the inheritance would go to the firstborn. However, one night, in a fit of hunger, the firstborn trades his decisive birthright to his twin brother for a measly bowl of stew. This is the story of Esau and Jacob, a story in the Bible. It illustrates the tragedy of instant gratification. Afterwards, Esau wept bitterly, trying to outdo what he had done. But the deed was done. It was too late. His fate had been sealed. Scott Peck said, "Delaying gratification is a process of scheduling the pain and pleasure of life in such a way as to enhance the pleasure by meeting and experiencing the pain first and getting it over with. It is the only decent way to live." The story is told about a lady known for making delicious homemade biscuits. People would drive great distances just to come to this lady's house to eat of her biscuits and cookies. You could smell them from the driveway. Your mouth would water as you pulled up to her door. One day she said, "Just consider what goes into make these biscuits. It's just flour. It doesn't even taste good on its own. And baking powder, you can't eat that on its own either. Butter, eggs, salt, they don't taste any good on their own." But she said, when you mix them all together and put them in the oven, it all comes out just right. Now, why have I recounted this story? The story reminded me of delayed gratification. You see, if you were really very hungry and decided to eat the ingredients because you couldn't wait, so you ate the butter, or maybe the baking powder, or the sugar on its own, or maybe the flour. They're all the ingredients for baking the biscuits and cake, but they would not be enjoyable or satisfying until you mix them together and bake them in the oven. So eating the individual ingredients before they have been properly prepared would give you a tummy ache. We would all agree to that. On the other hand, if you waited just a little while, those same ingredients mixed together and put in the oven, when baked, will be completely transformed to a delicious, delectable treat. So when you choose a half-baked reward because you can't wait, you deny yourself the wonderful benefits of delayed gratification. Once you've consumed the cake ingredients, you're done. You have deprived yourself of the delicious baked product because you can't have your cake and eat it. Pun intended. Delayed gratification describes the process where a person chooses to defer pleasure or reward to the future or to a later, more appropriate period when the reward will be more valuable. Delayed gratification means you refuse the temptation to take an immediate, smaller reward in preference for a later, better reward. Generally, delayed gratification is associated with saying no to a lesser but immediate reward in order to receive a more enduring reward later. Delayed gratification is relevant in a wide range of life situations and is a quality associated with a host of other positive outcomes, which include financial success and physical health. Richard Scott said, "Don't give up what you want most for what you want now." I'll say that again. Don't give up what you want most for what you want now. Delayed gratification will enable you to say no to the chocolate cream cake and go for the carrot sticks instead. Of course, the occasional cream cake is alright, but don't overdo it. The benefits of healthy eating far outweigh the fleeting pleasure of that scrumptious dessert. The ability to delay gratification will enable you to say no to the shopping spree and yes to the investment opportunity. When the investment begins to yield, you can then shop till you drop on the profits, but not on your capital. Delayed gratification will help you to burn the midnight oil while your friends are relaxing and chilling, while you diligently study and develop yourself. Now, this helps you become more valuable in the marketplace and gives you academic success. A person's ability to delay gratification relates to other similar skills such as endurance, patience, self-control, all of which are involved in self-discipline. Self-discipline basically enables you to make yourself do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, irrespective of your feelings. It is a person's capacity to adapt themselves as and when necessary to effectively meet the demands of life. John Vianney said, "This quality of self-denial in pursuit of a longer-term goal, and indeed the willpower to maintain the denial, is excellent training for the boardroom." If you do what you have to do as quickly as you can then do what you want to do as long as you want. Instant gratification and personal growth are incompatible. Immediate gratification is almost always the enemy of growth. If you delay gratification, you will grow. Now, here is the truth. Getting what you want immediately may not be the best for you. Sometimes waiting is the best thing because it helps develop character and resilience. Levi Lusko says, "Don't you dare trade your calling for something that's one and done. Don't you believe the lie that sleeping with someone before marriage will make you feel loved. You are already loved by an almighty God. Don't believe the lie that you have to compromise your values to be successful. Don't you believe the lie that you are missing out on fun by not doing what your friends are doing. You will be missing out for sure by delaying gratification, but what will you be missing out on? You will be missing out on heartache, regret, guilt, shame, and a truckload of misery. So, don't succumb to what the devil's got in his crock pot. Instead, decide that when he tempts you, you're going to throw that bowl of stew off the table. Options. There are always options in life. Red pill, blue pill. Swipe left, swipe right. Click on the link or shut down the browser. Say no or say yes. 2 options are on the table. Would you like to have it right now, or would you like to see great things through your life down the road? Don't give up your inheritance. Don't give up your destiny for something that makes you feel good for a night. Don't sell your virtue for momentary pleasure. Now yells louder, but later lasts longer, says Levi Lusko. And that is all for today. Until next time, keep on growing in wisdom and maturity. Blow the cap off your capability. Be unstoppable. Be awesome. I'm cheering you on.